This is News Today with WDW News Today. I'm Eric Morton of WDWNT.com. Please like this video, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell to make sure you never miss the latest from Disney theme parks around the world. Here now the news for July 1st, 2024. Magic Kingdom guests cannot hold virtual queue boarding groups for both Tiana's Bayou Adventure and TRON Light Cycle Run at the same time. Virtual queues for both attractions open at 7 a.m. and then again at 1 p.m. via the My Disney Experience app. If you secure a boarding group for one ride at 7 a.m., you cannot then get a boarding group for the other during the 7 a.m. window. We entered the Tiana's Bayou Adventure virtual queue at 7 a.m. and then could not join the TRON Light Cycle Run virtual queue. That seems to be intuitive. It seems to be kind of implied. But if you're still in a virtual queue for the ride at 1 p.m., well, you cannot join the other ride's second chance at the virtual queue. For example, if you joined the Tiana's Bayou Adventure virtual queue at 7 a.m., but your boarding group has not been called by 1 p.m., and we've seen this a lot with operational delays, the line being long sometimes, or maybe not opening on time, you cannot then join the TRON Light Cycle Run virtual queue at 1. If you try to join both virtual queues, you'll see the message, "This guest is in a boarding group for another experience." If you join one virtual queue at 7 a.m. and ride the attraction before 1 p.m., well then yes, you can join the other virtual queue if you can get a spot. You cannot join the same virtual queue twice though, so you can't, for instance, do the 7 a.m. Tiana's Bayou Adventure virtual queue and then also do the 1 p.m. Tiana's Bayou Adventure virtual queue. Tiana's Bayou Adventure is currently only available via virtual queue and Genie Plus, soon to be Lightning Lane MultiPass. Disney expects to open a standby queue soon. On June 28th, the Plaza restaurant and Tony's Town Square restaurant debuted new cast member costumes in the Magic Kingdom. The new cast member costumes at the Plaza restaurant are vastly different from the ones cast members previously wore. Cast members will now be found in white and teal vests over long-sleeve white button-downs and light green ties. Cast members will wear black slacks and black dress shoes to complete the look. Previously, cast members at the Plaza wore yellow dresses with a white collar and apron, black socks, and black shoes. The new costumes at Tony's Town Square restaurant now match the clothing worn by Tony in Lady and the Tramp. Cast members will wear dark gray vests, white long-sleeve button-down shirts, black slacks, and black bow ties. Cast members previously wore black vests, black slacks, and no bow tie at all. U.S. Army veteran and current Disney cast member John Arendt was presented with the Purple Heart Medal recently at EPCOT. He received the medal at the American Adventure Pavilion in EPCOT before the park opened on Wednesday, June 26th. Surrounded by the Portraits of Courage exhibit, Arendt was honored with America's oldest military medal for injuries he sustained during active service with the U.S. Army back in 2007. Arendt's ceremony was held before his family and other Disney cast members, including military veterans. He received the Purple Heart from Jen O'Rourke, a fellow cast member who serves as a major in the U.S. Air Force Reserve. During the ceremony, a flag was flown over EPCOT in Arendt's honor. Arendt was then presented with notes of gratitude from former President George W. Bush, Chief Executive Officer of the Walt Disney Company Bob Iger, and Chairman of Disney Experiences Josh D'Amaro. Arendt joined the Walt Disney Company in 2019 as part of Heroes Work Here, an initiative dedicated to supporting and hiring military veterans. He is now Senior Manager of Casting Services. The Purple Heart is awarded to those who have been wounded or killed in a line of duty. Walt Disney World has announced the lineup for the 2024 Eat to the Beat concert series presented by Florida Blue, which takes place during the EPCOT International Food and Wine Festival. The concert series will feature both internationally recognized artists and local bands performing at the America Gardens Theater. Acts performing at the festival for the first time this year include Yellow Card, The Wanted, and David Archuleta of American Idol fame. A notable act missing this year is Air Supply. Someone at my home not named Eric is very upset about this development. Guests must have a valid theme park admission to access the concerts, but they do not have an additional cost. Guests can get reserved seating for a concert with an Eat to the Beat dining package. These will be available from Fridays through Mondays. Guests can start making reservations on the Food and Wine website on July 9th. The 2024 EPCOT International Food and Wine Festival runs from August 29th through November 23rd. For the full schedule and details, check out our site. Did you know there's a way you can save big at Disney Deluxe Resorts? Well, today's show is brought to you by DVC Rental Store, a great way for you to plan a luxury Disney vacation on a modest budget. You don't need to sign up for a full DVC contract, but instead, they will allow you to rent the points you need for a magical stay. It really is the best way to stay deluxe at a fraction of the cost. And now, thanks to their lowest price guaranteed offer, you will always have the best price on the market. The rooms are discounted up to 75%, and they have the largest member inventory for points, so lots to choose from. You can search their availability right now for free, which is actually not something all rental companies offer. And if you do choose to book, they have a great cancellation policy and a low down payment. DVC Rental Store is the #1 DVC rental company in the United States and one that we have used many times over. Head to the description to check them out. Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith opened one day early at Disney's Hollywood Studios. That was yesterday. Previous announcements indicated it would be open today, July 1st. The July 1st reopening date was a change from the original July 27th reopening that was announced back in May. Now we're a day early on all this. This is the first time that guests have been able to ride Rock and Roller Coaster since it closed for rescheduled refurbishment back on January 8th. Yesterday, the app did not list the attraction as open, kind of like a soft opening. But today, it's open. It's on the app. It shows a 105-minute wait time. So I guess we see that this is still a popular attraction for Disney Park guests. Gertie the dinosaur's tail in Echo Lake at Disney's Hollywood Studios has been wrapped in tarps, likely for a refurbishment. We first spotted the tail cast over a week ago. Gertie's tail sits partially on the beach at Echo Lake, but when viewed from most angles, it looks like it's sticking out of the water behind the body of the dinosaur. When we initially saw the tarps, some of Gertie's tail had clearly been removed. The tarps covered a support for the tail structure. Now the tail has been restored. The tarps remain, but the tail looks taller and smoother than it did a week ago. The tarps are pulled taut and a similar color to the rest of Gertie, so they almost blend in. It's possible the tail's exterior was replaced but hasn't been repainted yet. Probably is by now, who knows? The bottom of the tail gets dirty and worn from the water, so the structural integrity may have been compromised too. For a comparison, we also have a photo of Gertie with her tail wrapped up and of course another of it unwrapped during Christmas time. The life-size dinosaur sculpture is home to Dinosaur Gertie's Ice Cream of Extinction. The venue is a tribute to Gertie the Dinosaur, a 1914 silent film by Winsor McCay. Gertie the Dinosaur was one of the first ever animated films and inspired Walt Disney, particularly influencing the dinosaur sequence of Fantasia. Last week, we reported that international guests would not be able to purchase Lightning Lane Multipass or Lightning Lane Single Pass before arriving in the United States. However, since our last report, Disney confirmed that guests in Canada will be able to purchase advanced Lightning Lane passes in the same manner as guests in the United States. This means the Canadian guests who are staying at Walt Disney World resorts and hotels can reserve Lightning Lane passes up to 7 days before their stay begins. They can book advanced Lightning Lane passes for their entire trip up to 14 days. Canadian guests who are not staying at an eligible Walt Disney World Resort hotel will be able to make their reservations up to 3 days before their trip. For guests who are not in the U.S. or Canada, Lightning Lane purchase cannot be made until they arrive in the U.S., at least for now. The new Lightning Lane system will go into effect on July 24th. Guests who purchase Lightning Lane Multipass will be able to make up to 3 reservations in a single park each day of their trip. The new system will categorize each attraction into 1 or 2 tiers. Guests may select 1 option from Tier 1 and 2 options from Tier 2. I know we went through this last week. It just bears repeating. A new Florida law states that timeshare companies like DVC can remove an owner based on their conduct, just like a hotel can remove a regular guest. The law is House Bill 429 and goes into effect on Monday, July 1st. That's today for those keeping score. It comes over a year after a DVC guest physically assaulted a cast member but was not immediately trespassed from Disney property because, well, he was at his home resort. Disney's Beach Club Resort, in fact. It's possible the guest was trespassed later, but Disney had to consult their legal department first. HB 429 ensures timeshare companies have the same rights as hotel companies in that respect. They can call law enforcement to take action against individuals who engage in conduct like, assaulting staff. This explicitly includes arrest and/or removal from the property. Action can be taken against a purchaser, owner, or guest. Well, speaking of DVC, on a recent trip to Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort, we had the opportunity to tour a model of one of the new DVC cabins that everyone's talking so much about. As promised by the initial concept art, the cabins are green with wood paneling surrounding the doors and windows of the entryway. Guests can approach the cabin's entrance via a long wooden ramp or a short flight of stairs. To enter and exit the cabin, guests can either use the main front door or sliding glass doors. Each cabin features a personal deck space. On the deck, guests will find a wooden table, an umbrella, and 4 wooden chairs. The patio furniture sits in front of the sliding glass doors, furthest away from the stairs. Each cabin number is displayed on a plaque on the side of the cabin that's closest to the entrance of the ramp and stairs. The plaques are dark green with pine trees cut into them. The yellow numbers sit beneath the trees. Each cabin features parking space for a golf cart. When guests enter their cabin, they will walk into a living area and dining nook. The living space features a couch, a chair, multiple end tables, and a coffee table that opens up and can be used for storage. Each living space is equipped with a 65-inch television mounted to the wall that connects the living space with the bedroom. The cabins also feature fully equipped kitchens and bathrooms and a bedroom that features a queen-size bed and twin bunk beds. But don't listen to me. You get the full deeper look by watching the tour right here on our channel. We did get a full look at a cabin, and the video is taking off right now. Space Mountain at Disneyland Park is closing for refurbishment in August. According to the Disneyland calendar, Space Mountain will be closed from August 5th through at least August 9th. It'll likely be closed longer than 5 days, but the calendar doesn't go out that far yet. We noticed some construction in the attractions queue recently, which may have been the beginning of a refurbishment project. There are 5 versions of Space Mountain globally. The one in Magic Kingdom is the original, of course, opened in 1975. A new Space Mountain is also under construction at Tokyo Disneyland. Their current version will close permanently later this month. The original Space Mountain de la Terre à la Lune may soon return to Disneyland Paris. There's a lot of Space Mountain stuff going on, and the Paris and Hong Kong Disneyland versions both featured temporary Star Wars Hyperspace Mountain overlays over the years. Space Mountain movie is also in development, so lots of Space Mountain stuff going on out there. With the official opening of Fantasy Springs at Tokyo Disney Sea, Tokyo Disney Resort introduced a new vacation package, including unlimited Disney Premier access to the 4 brand new rides in Fantasy Springs. We went into some amount of detail here on this. There's a very long post, but if you're planning on visiting Japan, I highly recommend you check out our article. It's got a lot of details and information for you. Also, Tom did kind of recap all of this in a video that's right here on our channel as well. You might have to scroll back about a week, but it is there. For the absolute latest on these stories and on all those that did not make it to today's show, be sure to check WDWNT.com and follow us on all your favorite social media platforms. You can support the entire team behind this show and others by joining the WDW Interglobe Society at patreon.com/WDWNT. Get access to exclusive content, discounted show and event tickets, and more. A special shout out to all the wigs watching who help this show happen each and every week. For the worldwide leader in Disney Parks news, this is Eric Morton saying, enjoy the rest of your today and have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.